My daughter got her driver's license yesterday. She went down to the DMV, took the written test, and she passed. She only missed 5 out of 6 that you can miss on the test, and she passed. Funny enough, though, that the guy that sat down to take the same written test before her, who was an elderly gentleman, probably in his late 60s, early 70s, failed the test. Felt bad for him, but obviously he didn't know the information the way the system wanted him to. My concern and my fear really is my daughter gets out there and starts driving now in this crazy world, and I can't protect her the way I want to, the way I have been for the past 16 years. I try to educate her, I try to love her and guide her and lead her and show her which ways are the best ways to go and why they're the best ways to go. And sometimes it just doesn't feel adequate. It doesn't feel like it's enough. Sometimes I feel like my words fall on deaf ears. And I have to really leave everything to the Holy Spirit to protect her. Ultimately, she belongs to Him anyway. And she asked me this morning if I could drive her to school when I was fully prepared for her to drive herself to school, but she asked me if I could drive her to school. I had mixed emotions on that because on one hand, her wanting to drive herself would express a tremendous amount of confidence in her ability to get to school. And then on the next hand, it was kind of an inconvenience for me. You know, I have to get up earlier and take her to school and then get myself off to work, which is fine. But the whole point of having a driver's license is so that you can go drive yourself. On the other hand, a completely different mindset is that she is of the mindset where she wants to have somebody with her. She is codependent, specifically at this stage in life, and I think that's a good thing. It's not necessarily a bad thing. When you're young and you're not sure how all life works and you're still kind of learning the ins and outs, you can do it better when you have people with you. God designed us to be in a relationship with one another, so that's where she was at. And for that reason and for that awareness, I was able to, wrap my head around it and be like, hey, I'm happy to take you to school. Second thing to be aware of, that I hadn't factored in until it actually presented itself again, was knowing that there are people at the high school who, when they find out that you have your license, will ask you for a ride home. That happened to me multiple times in high school, and I didn't have an issue with it because I was able to fight if I needed to, and it wasn't really a big deal for me. One of the things that I expressed to my wife that I was concerned about is the notion of sexual predators. And I'm not trying to raise fear, but at the same time, you have to be completely aware that when you have a young daughter who is very cute, beautiful, in fact, and well accomplished, and we're very proud of her, and she has access to a nice vehicle with several seats, there are going to be people that want to come along and try to get a ride home from her because they don't have the means to accomplish their own ride home or get it from their parents or whatever is going on. Aside from the fact that we want to keep her above reproach, it's not a good idea for her to be in another vehicle with another man by herself. It's not a good idea because there's too many temptations, there's too many questionable things that can arise from that opportunity. And so we really just want to coach her in that and be like, hey, here's something for you to think about, and that is, use me, Dad, as a scapegoat. Use me as the reason why you're not allowed to drive anybody else home. Use me as the reason that you are saying no, and I'm okay with that. And if they have any issues, they can come talk to me about that, and that's absolutely okay. I want to keep my daughter safe at all costs, and I want her to be aware that there are people out there in the world, including the high school, that will take advantage of her in a multitude of ways. And if I know that what those ways are. I feel like it's my duty and obligation as a dad to show her what those ways are, be aware of what the triggers and the red flags look like, and then how to avoid them very carefully so that they don't come back on you, and so that you don't have any ripple effect later on in life because somebody wants to be stupid and post something ridiculous about you on some type of social media or whatever, about how you're selfish or you're this or you're that, or who knows what kind of slanderous material they'll come up with. So my thought and my feeling about this is to protect your kids, protect my daughter, protect my son and my daughters, and just make them aware. And not only that, but be aware of myself as a parent, where she's at with this. She may not openly give me the real reason why she wants to do something up front, but there's always a protest behind a protest. And that's one of the things that I'm learning as I get older and more mature in life, is that there's always a protest behind the protest. She wanted me to take her to school, not necessarily for the reason that maybe I thought, but there might be a different reason she didn't want me to take her to school. And it could have been other people asking her for rides. It could have been for a variety of other things, and I can only speculate at this point, but it's certainly something to be aware of. So just praying for her that God would just bring wisdom to her, and that she would be able to see that and continue on with life. All right, have a good one. Talk to you later.